Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to cover a quick demo of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, and we're going to see on an overview what it can do from the level of from procurement to warehousing and also to sales and receivables. So we're going to cover the whole cycle of Business Central. So first of all, I'd like to mention that Business Central is a role-based ERP system, and by that it means that we have different roles of different users that are optimized for that designated user according to their roles and responsibility. So on the right side, top right, you're able to see the settings icon, and after that there is my settings, and you'll be able to see the roles. Okay, so we have this role here is a business manager, and you can also see that we have different other roles. So we have accountant, service manager, sales order processor, manufacturing manager, and so on and so forth. So each role is different. Whatever you're seeing in the UI is different pertaining the role of that user. So for example, this business manager, they need to know that what are the sales of this month, what are the sales invoices that are overdue, purchase invoice overdue, so that they can be able to manage and delegate tasks to relevant users of different departments. And this will be different from an accountant, for example. So if I go to the role center of an accountant, you'll be able to see that with this role is optimized for the accountant, what is relevant only to the accountant. So we'll be able to see the financials, things to do with how cash is flowing and all that. So just a minute for this to load. Okay, so what you're seeing here is the role center of an accountant, and you can see that the UI is different. So it shows what is relevant to the accountant: cash account balance, overdue purchase documents, incoming documents. It also has quick navigation to journals, finance, module, general journal, currency, VAT statement, and so on and so forth. And it also has fixed asset and all the relevant navigations for that user. So I'm going back to the business manager role center. And on this business manager role center, we have a perfect distribution of the main components of this ERP system. So we have master data, and you can see here we have customer, vendors, item, bank accounts, and chart of accounts. So those are the main master data in Business Central. It's segregated into four. It's customer, suppliers, GL accounts, and finally inventory. And down here you can see that we have the dashboard that shows us sales of this month, and everything is dynamic, which means it can take you to the exact data that resulted to that value. If I click on the sales of this month, you can see that it has given me the invoice that resulted to that sale. So I can drill down to the invoice and actually open it to see the exact invoice and the details of that invoice. You can see this is the invoice. It shows me the customer name and the item that was sold and at what rate. So that's just an example of how the dashboard is dynamic. And down here you can see we have different queues, and everything here is clickable, and it will take you to the exact data that you're looking for. So I've just clicked on the sales orders, and Business Central will take me to the sales order list page. I can open any sales order in this case. Yeah, so we have different queues down here, and here you can have your favorite accounts. You can integrate with Power BI report, and you can see we have this donut that shows top 5 customers by sales value. Okay, so that's a brief overview of the dashboard and the role center for business manager. And regarding master data, we have 4 different master data. We have the customer, and you can create new customers here. You can delete customers if they don't have any ledger entry, and you can set up different prices for the customers. And you can also have these insights on the left pane. You're able to see. I've just clicked on this customer, and it gives me all this insight, the customer number, without even opening the card. I'm able to see the balance of this customer right on the list. Okay, this is very powerful. Now I can even drill down and open this customer. So with this, you're able to see that we have the details of the customer here, the customer number, and the name or address and contact details. You have the invoicing details, payment details, and you can even put any attachment of that customer here. You can actually get the attachment from your local computer, okay, and just place it here. All right. And we also have the links here. You can attach any relevant link that you want to associate with that customer, and additional notes can be placed here. Okay. So you can also implement an approval process for this, so that before a customer is created, there's an approval workflow for that. Okay. Then we can create a sales order, a sales invoice, credit memo, reminders, sales quote directly from this customer card. So you don't have to go to the sales order and create it there. You can just do it here. And you can also set prices and discount on this specific customer. Now that's just an example. But of course, with a mass list of customers, assuming 1,000 customers, you can't do this by one. So we usually implement using rapid start services and use configuration packages to populate that data. And then you can see here we have different financial reports that are relating to that customer. Okay. And you also have quick actions here. You can do an approval request, workflow. You can post cash receipts right from here. Okay. And you can also navigate to different elements that are linked to this customer, as you can see. Now that's the master data. And after that, we have supplier. Now with supplier, the way it is designed is similar to the customer. It's just that this is on the payable side and the customer is on the receivable side. But the outlook and the navigations are similar. So you can have the same thing right here on the supplier. And most importantly is the financials. So with the financials, we have the chart of accounts. And with this chart of accounts, we can also upload it at once, or you can create one GL account after the other. So what you're able to see here is a list of GL accounts that comprise of income statement accounts, for example, income accounts and cost of goods accounts, and expenses accounts. And also we have balance sheet accounts here. We also have the assets and liability, capital, equity. All of them are here. And you can create a GL account just by one click of a button here and populate the necessary details for that. Okay. So for these GL accounts, they've already been created, as you can see, and they've already been categorized and subcategorized to the relevant categories and relevant subcategories. Okay. So right here, you can define a GL account. You can define if this GL account needs to be considered in reconciliation. It can be used in direct postings. If you want to block it, you can also block it here so that it won't be used in any transaction. And we also have the posting groups. So for the posting groups, this is what links the account to be used in the right posting. So for example, land and buildings, you can see it's blank, okay? But we can categorize these posting groups based on different criteria. We can set VAT posting group so that whenever this GL account is used, it can go to a certain VAT product posting group and deduct the exact percentage. Same with business posting group. Now this categorize the GL account based on the customers or supplier types and things like that. Then we have the product posting group. Now this can be used to specify the item product type and link it to transactions made for this item with appropriate general ledger account. So we'll dive into details about posting group. This is a huge topic that requires a different session just for this. But most importantly, posting group is what links the GL accounts to the exact categories of postings. Okay. Now that's a master data. And lastly, I'd like to talk about the items. Okay. So with the items master data, it's a huge topic also, but I'll give an overview of this. So we can have different items defined here. We can have resale items. You can have items that are assembled, items that are manufactured. We can have service items, and we can also have non-inventory items. So for example, the first one, you can see this is a bicycle. This it has a production bomb, so it means it has gone through production of this. So this is something that was can say produced or manufactured. Okay, I don't want to say assembled because it has used production bomb. If it was assembled, it will use assembly bomb. Now that also means this bicycle can be used in assembly process, but still linked with a production BOM. There's a reason for that, and sometimes a company will like to use production BOM rather than assembly BOM because of the capabilities that production BOM gives and the flashing methods that are there in production BOM, but they're not in assembly BOM. So that's the reason. And we can also have resale items that are being purchased and then used as raw materials, like rims. Rim is used in assembling bicycle. And so if I filter here, for example, assembly BOM, I'll get all the items that are assembled. For example, these ones, okay? And I can remove the filter. So let me just take you through this master data, how it is. So this is an item card. And we have the item number, description, base unit of measure. All of this can be defined here. And apart from that, we can also define the costing relevant to this item. We can have standard costing, fee for leaf for specific average, and more. Then we can define the sales prices. If there's a discount, we can define that. If it's purchased from a certain supplier, we can also define that. If there's any attachment, we can attach it here, and we can also insert the picture. Okay, so with the planning parameters, we can use different reordering policy. We can use fixed order quantity, maximum quantity, order, and load for load. This is another topic, very vast, that will also need a separate session. And we can also use lead time for the planning parameters, okay? And for the tracking, sometimes you have some items that you need to track, the batch numbers, you need to track serial numbers, expiry date. So this is where it comes through. We can have a systematic way of tracking different items with batches, serial numbers, expiry dates, and all that. And we can also set notifications, okay? Some of the things, for example, notifications, we can do that on the technical part, which requires some small customization. And for this, we can also have the inventory here. And you can also see the quantity on sales order, quantity on purchase order, and all that, okay? So the prices and discounts can be inputted here for these items, okay? So that's just an overview of how this works. So assuming a company has suppliers and they also have customers and they need to purchase an item from the supplier, put it in the warehouse, then sell it to the customer. So I'm going to take you through a quick demo for that, just showing you how that process works. So I'll start with raising a PO. So I'm creating a purchase order here. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, I want to create a purchase order. So assuming the company wants to purchase some item from the supplier. So this is what you do. You come here to the purchase order and you select the item that you want to purchase. Assuming you just want to purchase Amsterdam now, okay? Just input that there. And you can say you want to receive this in which location. You say the location. So I'm just hoping that the location has both receive and yeah, it's there. Shipment remember. So for that, I put the quantity that I want to purchase. 1,000 pieces. Okay. So this is the cost. So we can give you permissions to be able to change the cost or not be able to change the cost. So this is what I picked from the agent card, but you can also amend it here. And after that, you can put the input details. For example, if you have, let's say you want to track by payment method and all that, you can input the details here. So you also have shipment. So I'll select more. And let's say payment terms code. I'm supposed to pay 7 days so that it will tell me when it's due. And after this, you can send an approval request or just proceed without an approval request. For the demo purposes, and just proceed. So create a warehouse shipment. But wait, now before you proceed to create a warehouse shipment for this, you have to send this PO to the supplier. So what you'll do, you'll print it and you'll send it directly from here to the supplier. So just input the email, okay? So the email will be auto-populated from the vendor card and we select OK. And it will send. So you don't have to like go to email, do a lot of things. It will just do it from here. Okay, now that the email is sent, the company can wait for the supplier to deliver the good. When the supplier delivers the good, what you do is you come here and you say you want to create this warehouse shipment for the warehouse personnel to receive these items. So you just do that. You create warehouse shipment. I mean warehouse receipt. Sorry, and you give go ahead for the warehouse personnel to proceed with the action. So what the warehouse users will see is different from what the manager sees. So I'll just navigate to the warehouse worker role center so that you can also see that. And I'll go to arrivals. So you can also come here to warehouse receipts and see this is what you need to receive. Okay, it's 1,000 lamps. You can put the necessary details here, for example, vehicle number, ADG, and the driver name. Okay, after that you can post the receipt. Now the receipt is posted. Now what happens? Back to the business manager role center. Okay, now on the business manager role center, I'll navigate to the purchase order. By the way, I can also search it here, not necessarily just go there. I can even do this, and I can go to the purchase order. So that's also an option. And I'll select the purchase order that is in question. Now this is the one, progressive form furnishing. And we can also see that this has been received here. Quantity received 100, quantity to invoice is that one. So after this, you will proceed now to invoice. You'll match the supplier invoice here. And after that, you will just post. Okay. You can preview before that. You can see the GL implication and all that, direct costs, which account it's hit, which how it hits the vendor ledger, then post. Okay. And you say you've already received, so just invoice. So this is the invoice. You can see. Now to make the payments very easy, just go to payment journal and you input the necessary details here. Okay. You can put the supplier. So we need to debit the supplier here and credit the bank. This is the bank that we'll use. And I'm saying we're going to input the invoice, and the invoice that we want to apply is this one. Okay. So we have what's the invoice number? It's 45. Okay, I'm selecting that. So it gives me an error. Say you cannot apply with an earlier posting date. So this invoice is posted on this date, 9/7/2025. So I need to put that for this 9/7/2025. Okay, I'll put today's date then. Okay, now this is a demo purpose, and for this environment, it doesn't allow me to input these dates just because it's a trial version. So ideally, you should select this invoice like this, and then you should be able to proceed. So act as it has applied. So once you have inputted the invoice, okay, you just proceed and post. Now you can notice that this is the value. So just input that value here. So let me see one thing. Let me try one thing. So this is for date 9/7/2025. Okay, that's far, man. Yeah, that's far, man. We should have posted with another posting date, but it's okay. So after that, you just post. So it requires approval So you're going to need to disable the approval for testing purposes. Okay, who does? Okay, let me just put myself as an approver then, because it will keep on saying this. Okay, so after this, a post. And also, let me request approval for the selected line. Then after this, now I can post. So the invoice is posted, the payment is posted against that purchase invoice successfully. Okay, now that's a procurement process. We have now we've just received the PO. Then I mean we've created the PO. Then we received the goods and we posted the invoice. And after that, we applied the payment to that invoice. So the same thing can be done on the receivables part for the customer. So assuming you want to sell something, so you can just work with a sales order, and you can create a new sales order right here, and you put the customer name that you want to sell to. And I'll select rims in this case, assuming you want to sell rims, and I'll put the quantity as 100. I'll put the price, that one. So it tells me this item is lower than what is in this location. So I want to see where this rim is located. I'll come here and I'll say view by location, and I'll be able to see that I have rims in warehouse red. And see red, inventory level is 19,000, so I'll select red instead of yellow. Okay, and I want to make sure that in this location the receive process is enabled. So it's not. I'll enable it, and after that I'll proceed now. And assuming now that this is a sales order, we want to sell, I mean we want to ship these items to the customer wants to purchase this. So the process is you create the sales order, and after that we can do a warehouse shipment for the customer to receive the goods from the warehouse. So once goods are delivered, and one thing, you need to be the warehouse employee to be able to see this. So I'll select warehouse employee for the red warehouse. I'll put myself for the red warehouse. It is after that that you can be able to see the shipment lines. If you're not the warehouse employee, you can't. So after that, then you just post the shipment and give the delivery note to the customer. And you can see that the items have been received. Quantity received is quantity shipped 100. Then you need to invoice this. So accounts can post invoice. Okay. This invoice is posted on this date also. Okay. So after that, you now can make payment for this. Okay. So to make payment, you can just use cash, receipt journal. Then you can debit the bank, of course, and credit the customer. Okay. Then you can select the invoice. Okay, so here it's where you will be able to select the invoice. But notice one thing here. Once I select this customer, let me say select this customer, Sportsmare, it tells me that this customer has a bill to customer this. So you can set up the system in a way that you can deliver goods to a certain customer and bill a different customer. It's also possible. And now this is what has happened here. So I'll have to bill this other client. So the system can be made in a way that it's very flexible. New concepts, yeah. So new concept is the one that we build here, and this is the invoice. It will deny. Oh, perfect. It has picked. Okay. And now I'm saying this is a payment, and I'll post this. Okay. So I need to request approval for this. Send approval request. Journal line is approved. Then post. Okay. Posted successfully. Now, if I go to posted sales invoices, you can see that this invoice has already been paid right here. Remaining amount is 0. You don't need to even open this. So that's a sales cycle. Of course, we can have an advanced process with Dynamics 365 Business Central. We can have prepayments where customer pay, then they receive the goods, and vice versa. We can have the same process in purchases, and we can also have prepayment in purchases. We can have customized process flows of supply chain and all that. But this is just a quick demo of how Business Central works, and how the procure to pay processes and order to cash processes. You see, moving forward, we will be sharing insights on advanced capabilities that are focused on specific areas of Business Central. So with that being said, thank you very much for your time here, and looking forward to see you on this channel again. Appreciate that.